Find the principal needed now if you want an investment to be worth $1,200 after 3.5 years at 6.75% interest compounded continuously. So the key word here is continuously. Since our interest is compounded continuously, that tells us we need to use our compound interest formula for continuously compounded interest, which is A is equal to P times E raised to the RT power. Now on this problem, we're looking to find the principal. So we'll be solving for P. And we're interested in our investment to be worth $1,200. So our A value, our accumulated value, is going to be $1,200 after 3.5 years. So this will give us 1,200 is equal to the principal, P, which we're solving for, E raised to the R. Remember, R is the interest rate, but it needs to be the interest rate written as a decimal. So that would be 0.0675 times the amount of time, number of years, which is 3.5 years. So this problem, or a problem like it, is typically taught in a chapter when you're studying logarithms and exponential equations. However, it's important to take a look at the exponent here and realize that this exponent does not contain any variables. So this is not an exponential equation. So this is not an equation that's going to require us to use logarithms. In fact, if we're solving for P, we see that we're multiplying P times this quantity E raised to the whatever power there. So we just need to undo multiplication. In other words, we need to divide both sides by E raised to the 0.0675 times 3.5 power. Because that value, that's just a number. We're going to let our calculators do all that number crunching for us in just a moment. So essentially we're dividing out the E raised to that power. So we end up with our principal, the initial amount needed, will be 1,200 divided by this value. So please definitely take your calculators out and practice entering this in because you don't want to make a silly computation error. So 1,200 divided by E raised to this power. And in some calculators, recognize that depending on the calculator you're using, some calculators are going to require that you put the entire exponent in parentheses. So you kind of have to get to know your calculator here. And it looks like we should end up with a value of approximately $947.50 is how much money we would need to have on hand right now and invest in order to have $1,200 in 3.5 years.